Hi flosstube, it's Minnie from All X's. I'm back, and as I talked about in my last video, I have lots of unfinished finishes, and I called it my bin of shame. But a lot of you have said that I shouldn't be ashamed, that it's not a shame, you know, that it's accomplishments and beautiful work, and so it won't be my bin of shame. It'll be just my bin of unfinished finishes. So I went through and picked out another batch to show you. There's still more, but this batch I'm going to show you today. Plus I have the basket of small finishes that I mentioned in my last video. I have a couple of whips and a couple of things. I wouldn't say it was a haul, but a couple of purchases that I made that I want to share with you. And so we're going to get started now, because this will probably take forever. Okay, I've got my notes here so I can identify what it is I'm talking about and who designed it. And so that's what I'll be looking down at. Okay, so here we go. The first one is called Golf is a Game. Hope you can see that. This is a CJ Designs kit. I stitched this for my husband a few years ago, and it's still in my bin. I haven't framed it for him yet, but I will. That may be one of the next things I frame. He is such a good husband. I mentioned that I needed something to hold my iPad while I do my recording, and of course he got online and he purchased me the stand that I'm using. Maybe next time I'll actually do a behind the scenes tag, or or I'll just show you what it looks like. I'll take a picture and show it to you next time. So, but this next piece is one of my first cross stitch pieces, and it was I love Winnie the Pooh. My grandson was called Tigger. He liked Tigger. But this is what I stitched, and I stitched them, and for some reason I never finished them and never got them to him, and he's a grown man now, so a little too late. But here they are. This is Pooh and Friends, and this is from the Pooh and Friends Leisure Art booklet titled Pooh and Friends. And this was just some of them. I love these. I love Pooh. I have a nephew whose room was decorated in Pooh, but it was the old original Pooh, and this didn't fit, so I couldn't give it to him either. So, and he's in junior high now, so it's a little too late for that now. Anyway, here's some more. I'll find somebody to get those too. Or maybe I'll just keep them myself, because I like Tigger. And here's my Tigger. These are all from, well, I had two Leisure Arts Winnie the Pooh books. And the other one was actually P is for Pooh was the name of the book, and it's from Leisure Arts also. Excuse me. Okay, the next one is the Golf Serenity Prayer. As you can probably tell, my husband loves to play golf. He actually talked me into learning how to play golf. So I do know the basic fundamentals. My game is not that good, but I know my way around the golf course. I know what you're supposed to do. Okay, I like this one. This will be another one that I have to finally finish for him. Okay, The next one is Petite Cat. It is Alexandra Adelaide. I call it cinnamon stick. For some reason, when I saw this chart, it just called to be stitched in this. I think it was number 436, I believe it is, DMC. But it looks like cinnamon, so I call it cinnamon stick. Okay. The next one is Double Double. It's from Prairie Schooler. And it's the two witches, and they're mixing up a witch's brew. I like that one. The next piece is, this is just called a vintage witch silhouette. And I used a variegated floss, a black and green on this on this orange linen. So I like that. That'll be an ornament I could fix up right quick. This is another one. It just says witch. Both of these were freebies actually from the Little Stitcher. And I'll put her a link to her blog down below, so you can go there and check those out. This next one is from Jardin Privé. It's called Spiral, and it's on this chocolate, milk chocolate, even weave, and it's just stitched in white. But I thought that was really pretty like that. It's called Spiral. This next one is from an imaginating kit. Excuse me. The designer is Diane Arthurs, but it was a kit. It's called Bethlehem. Haven't found a frame long enough for that one yet. Okay, next page of your notes. Okay, this is from Plum Street Samplers. This was from 2013, and she had a sampler she called Mary's Sampler. There was 2 versions. I love this stitch along. Every week, every Sunday, she would give you a different little section or motif to put in the sampler. And it came with a Bible verse, which I thought was very nice. Now this one is, I think, a 32 count even linen. I don't remember what kind, but this is one version. And the other version I did on black. This is a black even weave. And I think this is 28 count. But this is the other version. There's a little difference in the two. And I liked both of them. So they're small. It was the small motifs and a small sampler. So I did both versions at the same time. And I really like those. Okay, my next one is a freebie from Joyful Expressions. And you can download this free chart, and I think they have it in several languages. But it's called His Name is Jesus. Don't you just love that? I think that is beautiful. And I did mine in several different shades of blue. I've seen them done in all one color, different colors. Like I say, I've seen it stitched in Spanish, which is very nice. That one, I don't know who I maybe I just keep it myself. I need to frame that one too. Okay, moving on. The next one, I'll probably have to stand up or I can just show it to you in sections because it's rather large. It is an Afghan. I don't have anyone currently to give it to. It should be for a little girl. It's from Lucy Heaton. She had a stitch along. It was her calendar fairies, and I stitched it on January and February, March, April, May, June, July and August, September and October, yeah, and then November and December. This is December. And I like them. Of course, I changed some of the skin colors so they would reflect me. And so I think they came out pretty good. Okay, I'll stand up and see if I can get it. Okay. Okay, and it's done on this Afghan fabric, which is actually is rather thin. So if I was to actually finish it into a blanket, I think I would first cover it with the with some fusible stabilizer before I put a backing on it. But so that's finished. Okay, the next one is Let's Sew from Ursula Michaels. I like sewing. My mother taught me how to sew when I was before I was a teenager, before I was in middle school. Probably well, right as I was going to middle school, put it that way. And I took a sewing class, but by the time I took the sewing class, I already knew how to sew. My mother had one of those Singer sewing machines, the trundle with the pedal. And that is actually what, I mean, I had four sisters. So, you know, she made our clothes up until it was only the two of us at home, myself and my younger sister. Then, you know, they could afford to actually buy, you know, a lot more store-bought clothes. So, but up until that point, she made our clothes for school. And she taught me how to sew with that trundle sewing machine, which I wish I had. But for some reason, my father decided he wanted to sell it to a friend of his for his wife. And, well, this was after my mother had actually bought a electric sewing machine. And so my father, you know, got this bright idea that, you know, oh, this man's wife would like to have this as a collectible, you know, so I'll just sell it from my wife. But anyway, I wish I could find one though. I would love to have one. So if anybody knows what somebody wants to sell one that's not very expensive, let me know. This next piece is it's a band sampler. And this was designed by my good friend Connie G, the one who's designing the diamonds in her diamond stitch along. This was one of her first, well, older designs. It was a challenge in our forum group years ago. She gave us, it was a mystery sampler, and she would give us the different bands to see if we could actually do it. There's a few specialty stitches in here that we didn't know how to do. So I thought this was really cute. I like that. I like experimenting, so you know I was in love with this when she came out with this. And it needs a good frame too. The next piece is this is the very first cross stitch I ever did. Before cross stitch, I had been working on plastic canvas, needlepoint with plastic canvas. And my daughter was in her Daisy Girl Scout troop. They didn't have a leader, they didn't have a troop. So I started one when she turned 5. I had promised her that she could be a Girl Scout when she turned 5. So when she turned 5, we started a Daisy Girl Scout troop. And I volunteered to be the troop leader. And by the time the year was over and we were about to, my husband was in the military, so we were about to PCS. And one of the moms gave me this. It's a stamped cross stitch. This was part of my little going away package. It's from, it says cats are human designs for the needle. Human designs for the needle. It's number 3721. I don't know if they're still in business or not, but it's a stamped cross stitch pattern. And this was the very first cross stitch that I did. I didn't know what to do with it, but I followed the instructions, and here we go. Here we are. This was the original cross stitch monster you see. Okay, so those are the batch of unfinished finishes that I picked out for this video. And the next segment will be my finished finishes, my finished smalls, my FFOs from my basket that I mentioned. And I'm going to try to, I've got notes here to let you know what they are. Okay. The first ones, and it's 3, are the first 3 in the Little House Needleworks Hometown Holiday Series. And this is the first 3. Sure. Okay, that's the first one. Our house. This is the train station. And this is the Christmas carols. And of course, you know, I changed some of the skin colors on those. But this is the modified block finish by Vanna. I love Vanna. I love her designs, or her finishes. And this was my version of her finish. It's not as good, nowhere near as perfect as hers are, but these are mine. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I had another one. I had a 4th one. Okay. This is the, I think this is the flower shop, the floral shop. Okay. Okay, the next one, and I just love this one, is my Christmas muffin. This, I got the chart from a Just Cross Stitch magazine, the 2013 special Christmas edition issue. And it gives you the instructions on how to stitch. Well, it gives you the chart of all the stitching and where to place the bead placements. And then you're given the instructions on how to finish it as a muffin. Now, it's supposed to have a string coming out of the center, which I didn't know how. I couldn't figure out how to get it done and how to get it in there before I put it together. So it's just a muffin, and I just sit it out on my top of my TV shelf, my TV cabinet, for the holidays. And I think that looks so good. And I love the little gingerbread buttons. Those are precious. Okay, so that's my Christmas muffin. Okay, okay, let's see, praying. I'm reading my notes. This one is a Treasure of Christmas cross-stitch designs. It's a praying angel, and it's in the ornament. This is the back fabric. Little gold braid, and it hangs on my Christmas tree. This is another one that I made. It's Santa. This is from Joan Elliott, and it has the little reindeer fabric on the back. This one is Merry Stitchmas with Mrs. Claus. Also Joan Elliott. It has the same fabric on the back. Okay, the next one is, this is a Little House Needleworks. No, I take that back. This is Country Cottage Needleworks. It's angels. I, of course, changed the skin color. And I did the modified block. And this sits on my Christmas, my mantle on my fireplace. And last but not least, this is also a Joan Elliott. And it says, "There's no place like home." And this is the fabric, the back. This was my first little Christmas pillow. Okay, let's see. What else? Oh. On my, well, over the years, speaking of Christmas, I've been in a couple of Christmas exchanges, and these are a couple of ornaments that I received. This is a little small biscorn ewe I got from a friend of mine that lives in, well, she's from Scotland, but she lives in England right now. And her name is Fiona. So, I don't know if you'll ever see this video, Fiona, but there's a shout out to you and your beautiful ornament. I haven't forgotten it. This one is from a friend named Irene, who stitched me that beautiful African musician pillow that I showed in one of my previous videos. But this is one. The F is for friendship. So shout out to Irene. This goes on my tree every year. This is another exchange ornament that I received. This is a Santa, and this one is from Taiwana. So shout out to you, Taiwana. This goes on my tree also. Okay. Those are, like I said, those were gifts that I received in the Christmas ornament like exchanges I've been into. Okay, the next one, well, the next, I'll just show you another gift I received. This one, well, first of all, I had never made a biscorn ewe. I didn't know what it was. I had to look it up on Google and find out what it was. And I had never stitched one, so we started an exchange in this same group. And I had to practice to see if I was going to be able to do it. And so if I made any mistakes and had to correct. This would be for me, and I would keep it and I would practice. Well, here is my very first Biscornu, and I just love it. It's on pink Ada, and I think this floss is DMC floss, but I think it's 815, I believe it is. It could be, but it's a really dark red burgundy. I've got some, actually they're clear beads. I don't know if you can see them or not. Here in the center of those little designs. And they're stitched on with the red thread, of course, so they don't show up. Well, they don't sparkle. You can see one or two of them. But this turned out very well. I love it, and it's strong enough, you know, to where it holds its shape, and you can actually see the corners. I love them, and it turned out very well, if I have to say so myself. So this is my first one in my practice. This is the one I received. It's beautiful. So this is a shout out. She actually lives in Paris. Her name is Flo. So shout out Flo. This was in 2013. So this is my Biscornu for my exchange. So this was a gift, and I love it. Okay, moving on. We'll move on to well, this one. This is a little ornament that I just put together, and it is the chart is Guardian of the Sea, Guardians of the Sea, and this was just a little odd little mermaid design that I found on the DMC website, and it is actually designed by the same designer here, and this is the little stitcher, and I just love it. I love mermaids, and I thought this was so cute, so I just put them together, and this is the fabric on the back of them, which I thought was beautiful. But these are the little flat ornaments. I've got the little some padding in there. Okay. The next ones I'll show you are my Halloween ornaments. Okay. The first one is, let's see. This is Freddy Cat. I cannot remember. This is one of the little small motifs that you can find in the little Just Cross Stitch magazines. And I'm not sure exactly where I found this one, but I stitched this and it needed something, so I stitched in the words boo, because he's Freddy Cat, and it's done on a little glitter opalescent fabric. I don't remember where I got it from, and I just padded it and glued it to this foam sheet I had, and trimmed it with my scalloping scissors. And there's the little hanger, and that's Freddy Cat. This is the Black Hat Society. Now this is a Sue Hillis design, and I thought it was a great idea to stitch it on the purple fabric. See the little candy corn heart there on her hat. And this is the backing fabric. It's black and yellow and orange Halloween colors. Okay. The next one is, I can't remember exactly where I got this design from, but it's Eek, and it has the little mice and the witch's boot. I thought that was cute. And this one, actually, I decided I didn't make it into a heart ornament. I just put a little batting in it and actually stitched it up. like a little quilt, like, you know, it's just a little quilted ornament. And that's the back fabric, Trick or Treat. Okay. The next one is was Halloween 2012. And this was another little motif I found in a magazine. And I think it was Salem. I think it was a just cross stitch Halloween edition magazine that I got this from, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't find which one. And the back is just Halloween 2012. But I like that. That's so cute. That reminds me of the witch from The Wizard of Oz. She's green. Elphaba. Okay, here is the witchy boot, which is not actually a boot, it's a shoe. But I love the platform heels. Takes me back to my youth. This is all, the whole shoe is stitched in Krynic. You see the belt buckle, there's a little button here, and the spider. The spider is sewed on with a metallic thread, and those are actually his legs. So I think I love this one. And this is the back fabric. This looks like the Argyle socks, but they're purple, so to me they would fit perfectly with the witch's purple shoes. So, you know, that's keeping in fashion. So that's my witchy boot. That one is from, like I said, that's a Sue Hillis design. My next one is a sugar skull, and I love this one. I get this chart from the director of Counted Cross Stitch, which is a website you can go to, and they have lots of mostly free charts to download. I'll put that link to that one at the bottom. The backing is a skull, pirate skull with the crossbones, but I just love this sugar skull. It's so bright and colorful. Okay, so those are my Halloween finishes that I made. I was also in some Halloween exchanges in my group, one of my groups. And this first one from 2014 is an ornament that I received from Kirsten, who lives in Australia. So shout out to you, Kirsten. And the next one is from 2015, and she is at the time she was a novice cross stitcher and had no idea as to how to make an ornament. And she had just tackled the card making. So instead of an ornament, she made it into a card for me, which is very good. I like this. I love the little bat's eyes are a metallic. I don't know if you can see it just a little bit. It sparkles. But she did a very good job. I love the little cupcake. So, this is from Melissa. Shout out, Melissa, if you're watching. Okay. So, those are my Halloween ornaments. Let's see, what else am I? What's next? Okay. I did my biscuit on your chain. Oh, all right. Now, the very first pillow that I made, and I just love this one. It's cookies. It says if you're alone when you eat a cookie, do the calories count? Of course not. Who counts? I just love this chart because it had the cookie with the bite taken out of it and the crumbs. And then I found this little button that has cookie jar, and I love it. This was my very first attempt at a pillow, a little small pillow, and this is stitched on a blue Ada, 14 count. I love that. Okay, that's my pillow. The next two items, these were practices. I was stitching a anniversary sampler for my son and my daughter-in-law, and for their 10th anniversary, and it called for a heart, you know, so I made up the heart according to the pattern, but I couldn't get the heart shaped perfectly like I wanted it. So I had to figure out, so this was my practice. So I had to figure out how I was going to get a heart on that sampler. Well, I found a chart for a stitched heart. So this is my husband, and I just used, and I practiced the heart, stitching it to see what it would look like. So I used it and just put my husband and our anniversary date in there, which is coming up pretty soon. It'll be 40 years. So anyway, and then I just used this and made it into a little flat ornament, the little padding on it, and just a little ornament I can hang on the wall. So those were the practices. Now I'll insert a picture. Actually, I'll insert a picture of both samplers I've made for one for my son and his wife, Penny. My son's name is Tony, like his dad. So for Tony and Penny, I have a sampler I made for them, and also for my daughter Samantha and Alan, her husband. I made their wedding sampler. So I'll insert pictures of both of those for you. I don't have them anymore, so that way I can show you those two. Those are actual finished FFOs. Okay, the next thing I want to show you was this was a random act of kindness by a very good friend of mine, well, nice lady, really nice lady, named Vicky. She has a blog, and we comment on each other's blogs. So this was a random act of kindness. This is a little pin keep she made for me. That's stitched on 40 count fabric. I think that's beautiful with the little pearl buttons, the little shiny pearl buttons all around. There's some very beautiful pins that she added, and there's a very tiny little heart with X's and a needle on the back. I think this is very pretty. I love this. It's beautifully done. Okay. I tried my hand at a pin keep, which ended up into a pillow, which ended up with a ribbon on it so I can hang it if I want to, but it's in my basket, and it's called Love Keep. I think this one is done on It's one, no, it's 2/2, but it's like, I think that is a 40 count maybe. So it's small too. So this was my attempt at a pin keep. This is, let's see, do I have a name for that one? Oh, this is a shepherd's bush design. The chart is by shepherd's bush. Okay. The next one is this tiny sampler. This is a, well, I'll put her blog. Her blog isn't active, right? Actually, I checked it, and her blog isn't active anymore at the moment. But this is from Sunshine Stitches. And this was a stitch along a few years back. And she would give us a row at a time. But as you can see, that's the whole sampler. And it's that small. And I thought that was very beautiful. I get to use a lot of my little extra flosses, you know, the little bits left over for different colors. And I just backed it in some purple fabric, and it's like an ornament or a little wall hanging. And I thought that was very pretty. Okay. The next one is a pin cushion. This I get from, this is a stitch along called Ollie the Owl, 2014 stitch along. This was from a Facebook group called the South African Stitchers, and this was a free stitch along. It's designed by the founder of their group, Nikki Loans. And they give you the stitching chart in your little owl fabric I get for the wings from Joann's Fabric for the bottom. Now you can fill it with like rice, or I guess pecan shells, or whatever you'd like to fill it. But I just stuffed mine with the fiber fill, and it's a pin cushion. But I thought that was so cute. And they give you the instructions on how to assemble it. So this is Ollie the Owl. Okay. This is a key fob that I get from the Country Cottage, well, it's Country Cottage keyring kit. And it came from one of my Minnie magazines. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. And as far as it was, to me, it was hard to assemble it by it being so small. So I had a hard time assembling it, but everything came with it. The fabric, the chart for the little house, and of course you can see the front door, the roof, and then it comes with the little ribbon to hang it. And I thought that was really cute. Okay. Now, I want to show you the last choice I'm going to show you, last things I'm going to show you. These are Little House Needleworks Calendar Girl. It was a monthly stitch along. And I'll go through and show you the ones that I have. This one is January. And it's just mounted on a piece of cardboard. February. This one is March. We have April. May. June, August, September, October, November, and December. Now, I purposely skipped over July. And hold on one second, and I have to go get July. So hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. This is July. And I had to go get it because I forgot it's mounted on my wall. And I'm going to show you the secret of how I use this for my calendar girls, because I switch them out. I exchange one each month. Okay, this is one of these. You can buy these at Michael's. Now it comes the natural wood, just the natural wood. What I did was I painted it white, and I wanted to display the monthly calendar girls, but it took up a lot of space to take 12 of these and paint them and to display them on my wall all at the same time. So that's why I decided I would I figured, I'm like, how can I display it on the wall for each month? So I decided this would be my mount. And what I would do, what I did was I placed Velcro, the Velcro dots, and I placed them on the board. This. After I painted it and dried, I put the Velcro dots. So each month has, and this is how I mount it. It's just a piece of cardboard and two-sided tape. And I mounted a dot on each corner in the same spots, coordinating with the ones on the board. So every month, I can take it, situate it over the dots, press it in, and mount each month on the board. So today is actually the 2nd, so I need to change it out. So I just peel off the Velcro, and there you go. It's mounted to the board. And then, of course, it has the little hanger, so I can hang it on my wall, and I can switch out the months. Easy idea. This only costs you maybe $3 at the most, which I doubt it cost that much. And the little white paint is just a little bottle of, flat paint. And there you go. So this is the Little House Needleworks Calendar Girls, and this is how I mount and display mine. Okay. So that's it for my FFOs, my unfinishes. Okay, so let's get on to, I want to share with you something that I purchased. First of all, Elphaba. Oh, I love this. I saw this on the Organic Granny, and she was stitching this for a friend, I believe. And when I saw it, I just loved it. So I got on Etsy. I think it's Etsy. From Kina's Cross Stitch. That's just the thread sheet. And this is Elphaba. And I love this. I'll give you, and I'll put that in a link down there. But this is the cover sheet. And as much as I'm going to stitch this on black fabric also, because it's a full coverage piece. But to me, a full coverage piece makes no sense to stitch all of this in black when I can use black fabric and then use the colors on the green portions to show up. That'll be perfect. I won't have to do all the black stitching and stitching for days and days and days before I get to any of the picture. That's why I don't do Heaven and Earth. I know it is the big thing right now, the Heaven and Earth designs, but a full coverage piece would drive me completely crazy. I do not see myself stitching for months at a time before I can even see part of the main picture. So I'll just watch all the beautiful stitching everybody's doing on their Heaven and Earth designs, and eventually, you know, I'll see their finished pieces, but I can't. The other thing I found, okay, once before I showed you the these grime guards that I saw someone using on Facebook page, you know, from the dollar store. Well, I was in Michael's and I saw this. It's a headband. It's fuzzy. It's wide. And it's perfect. It fits perfectly on the small Q-snap. It's a perfect grime guard for the small Q-snap. Of course, I got the blue and the yellow. And this is $1.50 from their little displays near the register, the little dollar stuff. $1.50. So, if you have a Michael's, check to see if they have any of these headbands. Okay, so that's my tip for this week. Okay, I'll show you my whips. First one is, I started this one. This is a design from Sullivan's. And Sullivan's, if you don't know, is a brand of embroidery floss. Most of their colors are comparable to DMC colors. They even have the DMC numbers on the labels, along with their Sullivan label numbers. I have used these in several of my projects. They were actually cheaper flosses. The price was cheaper than the 39-cent a skein for DMC that I was getting at that I can get at Michael's. The only place that I had locally that sold the Sullivans was Hancock fabric, which is now gone out of business, and they've closed the doors. So when I get ready to order Sullivan floss, I have to go to their website. But anyway, this one was advertised on the Halloween issue of the Just Cross Stitch magazine. And it was advertised on there as a free download. So you can go to the website, which is www.sullivanusa.net. I'll put that down below. And you can you can download the chart for this witchy, and it's called Witch Boot, which is another shoe, but that's the name of it. And this is the design. I think that is so cute. Now, I just purchased another design. I'll show you that one too. It's just kitted up. I haven't started it. But anyway, here is where I'm at on my witch boot from Sullivan. Aren't those colors beautiful? I love the bright colors. And I just have that curly toe to finish. And that'll be a wrap for this one. So that's my another one of my Halloween whips. Not sure if I showed you this one, if I had even finished them for my last video, but I worked on Connie G's sampler, and I finished those two. I think I did show them to you. Oh well, you see them again. Those are the last two diamonds that I worked on with my colorist thread. I think I did show them to you. Okay. Well, you got to see them again. And I stitched 3 more of my Brooke Nolan Advent Animals. This is Sheila Sheep, and this is Fitzwilliam Frog. So, and let me see, what's the camel's name? That's a kangaroo. Let's see, what's his name? His name is Kenny Kangaroo. Okay, so you have Kenny Kangaroo, Sheila Sheep, and Fitzwilliam Frog. And that's what the whole thing looks like so far. And of course, this is being stitched on my Walmart kitchen towel. So that's my whip. And my current whip that I'm working on is from Gloria and Pat. And it's called Dollar Bill. And I just love it. It's still in my queue snap because I was working on it. But this is my dollar bill. And my little needle minder here is a sand dollar, which I thought was appropriate for my dollar bill. Now, I showed a picture of this on Cross Stitch and Discuss. Someone asked me about as far as the rules where you're not supposed to print money, and did they hold true for stitching money. I don't think anybody will mistake this one for a real dollar. You can see the size of it. It's kind of large, and it's on fabric. So, and like I told the lady, if someone, you know, mistakes this for a currency, I need to find a chart. If anybody has one for $100 bill, and I will be stitching that one, several of those. So here's my dollar bill. This is my current bill. And last but not least is my Walking Dead, my finish. Aren't they cute? My Walking Dead. This is stitched, this is from Pixel and Stitches, and it's stitched on 28 count linen from hand dyed fabrics from Stephanie. It's called Willow Wisp. But that is, those are my Walking Dead characters. So that didn't take long as I thought it was going to take. Well, that's all I have actually for scheduled for you today. I really appreciate all of the beautiful. Oh, I've got so many comments. I really enjoyed the reading the comments. I love them. Thank you so much. And like I say, my next video, I will probably show some more of my unfinished finishes. I've been stitching. Like I say, I just showed you all my whips, so I don't know what I'll get stitched up for next time, but I'll show you whatever I have. Whatever I get at Stitch Night is this Wednesday at In Stitches here in Alexandria, Virginia. And so whatever, if I pick up anything new, I'll show you that next time. If I have any starts, I'll show all that. But I'll pick out another batch of unfinished finishes, and we'll go through those. And that's about it for this time. Like I said, thank you very much. Thank you so much. I have almost 300 subscribers, which is fantastic. Oh, I was told in one comment that my voice is soothing. And I'm going to take that as the reason why my husband falls asleep. It's because my voice is so soothing and it just puts him to sleep. I asked him that and he told me, of course, that is the reason. So that's the reason that I can't hold his attention, especially when I'm talking about cross stitch. Oh, there is I can't remember her name right now, but she does she did a video with her partner and her husband, I think it is, and she gave him a quiz as far as different cross-stitch terms. It was hilarious. So I had to immediately go. Now I could not drag my husband on film on the camera to record his answers, but I was almost in tears because he didn't know what I was talking about, and the ones that he did try to answer and describe what I was talking about, he didn't have a clue, and it was hilarious. But it was different terms, and I'll give you a link to her video. I'll put that below too. You should watch her video. I loved it, and like I said, I tried it out with my husband. It was so funny. It was ridiculous, but he refused to be recorded answering the questions, and but I had a good time and a good laugh asking him those questions. So I don't know what else to talk about. So I'm not really a chatty person, believe it or not. But anyway, I do appreciate all of the subscribers, and I appreciate you all coming to visit, all the beautiful comments. And as I say in my blog, when I close my blog, I'm going to go now and return to my stitching, make some wonderful little X's, and I wish you all happy stitching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.